All right, boys and girls, all my YouTube fans, this is a 2018 Chevy Silverado. Okay, front brake pads and rotors. All right, saw my other video of why we're changing it. It's because it's making noise. The brake pads and the rust on the rotor are mating together and making a nice squealing noise. All right, so we're gonna do these brake pads and rotors. It's getting dark soon, so we're gonna go through this pretty quick. Most of you already know how to do brakes if you're watching my channel. So this is what we're gonna do. Right, this one here, 2 bolts over here, is a 19 millimeter. Okay, a little rusty. 19 millimeter, one on top, one on the bottom. This will come out. This sucker is heavy, so be careful. Don't pinch your fingers. Mamma mia, I'm gonna lay this right up here. Okay, that's heavy, that ain't going nowhere. Back here is 2 18 millimeters. Even though the 19 fits on there, the rust will make it so that you think you have a 19, but it's actually an 18, right? So force the 18 in there, otherwise you're gonna round out these corners. So it's 2 18s, rust and all, top and bottom. This will take off the bracket. So you could do one of 2 things. You can take off the bracket with the brake pads, like it's gonna come out right now. Or you could just take the brake pads out on each side and then just have the bracket. All right, so we're doing a little different than my other videos. See, you gotta check this hardware, make sure this is nice and free. Okay, nice and free, because there's a floating caliper, so you want it to move. If it's frozen or stiff in any way possible, just take it out, lube it up, clean it, grease it, and you're good to go. Now I want to show you on this one, in case you don't want to watch my other video. See the brake pads? Okay, see the rust? Okay, the rust is creeping down and it's touching the brake pads. Look on this side. Look, there's a little gap over here in this hole. You see the rust is starting to move in towards the rotor, and that rust is hitting the brake pads and making a nice little shiny spot on the rotors. Okay, right on the edges, you can see it all the way around, and that's what's making a little squeaking noise. And then when you step on the brakes, the noise goes away, because now you're squeezing it so tight that it's forced to. All right, so now this is going to come right out, brake pads and all. See that? You can see where the rotor is starting to cut a groove into the pad up on top. Remember? Oh, put it over here. See right here? See the rust is taking in and hitting that pad. Let's look on this side, the one that I'm talking about. See that? Cut a nice little groove into it. Look at that. Looks like a record player. And then the rotor itself has a T30 torque screw that comes out of here. Okay? Because this one only has 40,000 miles, came off pretty easy. Otherwise, you might need an impact screwdriver with the Torx, and that will come right out. Normally, you hit this with a sledge and it pops right out, but this thing came out like it's butter. It is also very, very heavy. So be careful when you take it out. Don't pinch your fingers. Don't want you guys in the ER. See the rust coming in? All right, see that little groove over here? Look at that. You can see the shiny parts of it where the brake pads are actually touching it. And that's the only part that's touching the brake pad, because it's actually cutting a groove into it. Get into the groove. Let me see if I can take that pad out for you and show it to you. Let me put you down. There you go. Wow, they were on there nice and tight. Look how rusty the clips are. See that? So I'm going to give a hard time for those pads to slide back and forth in the near future. See that? All rust. Had a hard time knocking them out, but it came out. And look at the brake pads. Look at this. See this perfect groove? Matches that perfect rust groove right there. So technically, if you look at it, you can see how shiny it is. These brake pads are not even touching when you hit the brakes, because it's the rust that's touching. But you force enough pressure, of course, this is going to start to touch. But look at that. It starts to cut a groove right into the pads. All right. So, another reason why you change rotors with the pads. Okay. The other side has a smaller groove. Okay. Right on the edge. and took it right out. But look at this pair too. See? Looks like it's hardly touching. Just the rust is touching. A little rust over there too. All right, so off we go to change the items. Came off pretty easy, right? It's not bad. Little rust. Definitely some JB stuff. Penetrating oil. WD-40. All right. Try to clean up some of this rust here. And we're going to replace it with some Duralast stuff. Let's see what we got. Let's take a walk. All right. Customer brought me 55097 DL. These should be the 2-year rotors. Duralast gold brakes. DG1363. And brake cleaner. The best stuff in the world. I hope they don't discontinue it. I think they're coming out with a new brand. Some blue can. Shop something. But this is the best stuff. Takes oil out of your driveway. Cement driveway. Watch that video also. Alright. And I think that's it, guys. I want to clean it up and put it back together. So I'll show you that. Even though I showed you how that came apart pretty quick. Alright. So let's take this apart. We got to clean the rotors. Get the oil film that's on it. And let's get going. Oh, let's look in the brake pads here. Here's the gold. Gold usually comes with clips. Excellent. Look at that, huh? Buy cheap, you get cheap. That's what I say. Okay? All right, let's get this party started. All right, here we go. Put the nice heavy rotor on there. Take the little T30. Bought it from AutoZone. Duralast tools. Guaranteed for life. I'm going to put you down for a second so I can tighten this. All right, so that's nice and tidy. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Let's go on to the brackets here. Let's take these clips off. Might need a screwdriver, no? Sometimes you just pry them right off. Ugh. Mamma mia. There you go. Okay, you want to clean all the rust out in there too. Because if the rust sticks up in there, then the clip is going to come out further and it's going to give you a little resistance. Because if they both clips are coming out, then it's going to squeeze the brake pad and give you a little bind. So find your little wire brush and let's clean this up a little bit. So we're going to go brush, brush, brush. What's that song with the brushing the teeth? Well, you know what. You can sing it too. I'm going to do this now. All right, so nice and clean. You can see all the dust. All right, clean them on both sides. All the way around. You want to go for a show car, just paint them up. Right, like I said, check all this hardware. Make sure they go in and out. Right, nice and easy. Okay, because it is a floating caliper. So if there's no binding, no resistance, you are good to go. Now let's put those clips on. Where are those new clips? Let's go get it. They're in a brake pad box. All right, so there's no left or right. What's kind of weird is that this one doesn't have, they usually have like a little stop there on the edge over here, or a little piece of metal coming down, so it'll be centered. So when you put it on, it can be too far over to the left or right and hit the rotor. So make sure, looking at it, the clip is exactly even on both sides and not sticking out and protruding the other way. All right, so let's put this one on. I think I do this one blindly over here, like this. They snap right in, they're pretty good. And you want to look to make sure that they're pretty even. Okay? Otherwise, it's going to hit the rotor. Look at that. Did that without looking? Perfect. All right, now I'm going to take this little bugger. I'm going to put him in here. I'm going to need my other hand to get the bolt in there. Okay? He's going to slide right back down. The bolts, I already put a little WD-40 on it. A little wire brushed it. I'm going to throw them right in there temporarily. I'm going to use my other hand to throw the bracket on. All right. Hold on. All right. Like I said, these are 18s, people. Okay. You get a 19, it will fit, but you're going to end up stripping the bolt. Okay, 19 is only for the caliber bolts because of all the rust in here. That's why it's an 18. Well, that's why it goes to a 19. It balloons to a 19, but it is 18. I mean, you go wire brush it and do whatever you want with it. All right, so I'm going to continue to tighten this up and then torque it to specs with my breaker bar and a torque wrench. Okay, nice and tight. Remember I told you about those clips? See that? They have to be, if you have them too far over, then they're going to be close to the rotor. Okay, over the rotor. So you want it to be nice, have a nice little gap. Line them up exactly with that metal bracket, and then you're going to be good to go. All right, let's go push that caliper piston in. You got your tool, wrench your tool. Let's go and do that. All right, here's a nice little tool from Lyle. It goes right there. I'm going to squeeze it. And it's going to squeeze those 2 pistons in. Okay, nice and easy. Just see them go nice and easy, okay? Should be no resistance. You want to make sure that those rubber boots are folded in like an accordion, a little bit at a time. No mad rush. Okay, they fold over each other and it comes out past the piston. You got to push it in. Get a nice blunt tool, a blunt screwdriver, and just push them in a little bit all the way around, and you'll be good. All right, there you go, all the way in. Let's release this little bugger. All right, now the gold pads do not come with any lubricant, so always buy a little brake lubricant. I put it around the pistons and I put it on the 3 sides over here that touch the brake pads. Old school, that's what we do. Let's do it now. There you go, nice and lubed, both pistons. The 3 contacts over there. Now we're going to put our brake pads on. Okay, if you're not sure which brake pad is left or right, especially with the sensors, just match it with the original one. Okay, this one has the sensor. You see the shape of it. There's the shape of it. There's the sensor. Okay, the outer ones are the same. There's no difference, but there is a left and right with the sensors. Okay, so it's going to go this way like that. The sensor is going to be on the bottom. Okay, so let's put that on. Stop you so I can use my both hands to put this on. All right, new clips always give you a little bit of a hassle, but it's all good. Okay, just gonna push this back with the brake pad. It slides right in there, same thing. Okay, of course this one has an extra little piece over there that holds the brake pads. So now to throw the rotor on. The rotor would slide right on with no problem. Let's lift it up. Oh my God, it's heavy. Oh, can't do it with one hand. Let's put it with 2, because now I push this pad out. All right, there you go. All right, it'll pop in nice and easy. Just gotta push these little floating pins in, and it lines up perfectly. Okay, just gotta raise it up with one hand, line up the bolts. I gotta use 2 hands with this, because this sucker's heavy. All right, let's go do that before this drops on my foot. All right, like I said, this is a 19. Everything should screw in nice and easy. Okay, if you feel a little resistance, you might be going in crooked, you might be cross-threading it, or you just didn't clean out all the rust and everything off the bolts. Okay, it should be nice and easy. All right, gonna snug it down right now. Go look for the torque specs, and we're gonna torque this right now. I just put it down evenly like that. All right, and go torque it down. Then that's it, people. Look at that, all done. If you notice, I turned the wheel this way, so I'm not crouching into the wheel while doing my work. Much better when it's out here in the open. See, nice, right? 6 lugs. Don't forget to tighten them and torque them down too. Okay. On my other video, you can see somebody's wheel fell off. Sheared all the studs off. All right, folks. Thanks for watching again, Mr. Silverado. Thanks for dropping by.